Welcome to GBC Updates for Friday, the 23rd of July. I just finished watching the Premier's update on where we stand as a city and as a state, and the news is not great. Another 136 cases, I believe, with over 50 of those infectious for a period of time in the community, which simply means that our hope that the lockdown might end next Friday is looking, well, not as hopeful as we might have liked. Which means, of course, that we're going to have to settle in for a longer period of time and do everything that we can to be good citizens and good members of our community. Can I just encourage you, as the Premier did and as Kerry Chant did as well, that we need to do all that we can to protect ourselves, our families, and our wider communities. I know that it's really hard in the midst of lockdown to remain so locked down, but it's really important that we be others focused in this period of time and do all that we can to help those around us. So please pay attention to the rules. Be those who wear masks whenever required. Be careful about the sorts of things that you do. Limit the amount of travel that you're engaged in. And can I encourage you to get the vaccine if you have not yet done so? I've had my first jab of AstraZeneca. I'm just waiting. I contacted the doctor yesterday. I'm going to wait another week or so before booking my next jab. But looking forward to the protection that gives to me, but also the protection that it gives to those around me as well. Really encourage you to start that process. I realize that for some of you, particularly those of you younger than myself, have perhaps found this a fairly frustrating time, trying to find an opportunity or a time to begin the process of vaccination, but stick at it as best you can. Can I also really encourage us in this period of time to be people who are generous and gracious to those around us? I know that there's frustration at what's taking place, and that can get kind of worked out in terms of our government officials or others in our lives. Let's be as gracious and generous as we can. I heard at one point, I think it was the Premier who said that, the key to our living well is all wrapped around the vaccine. And while I believe the vaccine is a very useful way forward, at the same time, we are those who live by faith. And so we need to, at this point in time, really press into our relationship with Jesus, really press into the God who is above all of the storms and chaos. To that end, can I really encourage you to make sure that you log on to one of our services this Sunday? I know that logging on and being part of an online community is not always the easiest way to engage, not always the most nourishing for our souls, but it is something, and it's an important something in this period of time. I want to let you know a couple of things that are happening in our services this week. First of all, in both of our services, in the morning at 9:30 and in the evening at 6, we're going to be celebrating communion together. We're actually going to be making that our expression of worship in those services and taking some time to really focus our hearts and minds on that. So can I really encourage you to be prepared prior to our time together on Sunday so that we can make the most of that time as we worship, as we receive again what Jesus has provided for us. Also, as we did last week and as we have done for a number of weeks in our evening service, we're going to be having Zoom gatherings after the morning service. So how this works, so we sprung it on you last week in lots of ways, and we had, about 20 people or so join up. Essentially, you'll all show up into a Zoom room, and then you're broken into smaller breakout groups. We try to keep the groups between 6 and 7 people or so. And each of those rooms are actually going to be hosted by one of our elders. So it's an opportunity for you to get to know our elders, but also an opportunity just to catch up with people who are also attending the service. So I'd encourage you to jump into that space, particularly if you need some support. In our evening service, this is our first Formation Sunday, which means that there's going to be a live stream component of our service for the first 20 minutes or so, when we're going to celebrate communion together, review what we did last week, and set up what we want to be focused on. And then we're going to be meeting in Zoom breakout groups for about an hour or so after that to really kind of lean into what it looks like for us to be disciples and followers of Jesus as part of our ongoing series, The Topography of Discipleship. Really hope that you can be part of one of those services and be a participant to the best that you can be. And just finally, when this lockdown first began, 1 or 2 weeks, wasn't so bad. And even a third week, that's not too bad. 5 weeks is getting there and starting to feel quite long. And the prospect of this becoming even longer. And so while you might have been doing just fine a couple of weeks ago, you might find yourself now not doing quite as well. Can I really encourage you to reach out to us? Our elders are already beginning the process of calling through our lists, the people who are part of our community of faith. So theoretically, in the next several weeks, someone will be in touch with you. But if you need to talk to someone before that, can I encourage you to reach out to us? If you're in a life group, please speak to your life group leader. Let's give you the support that we can. We'd love to be able to pray for you or support you in any other way that is possible at this point in time. But please don't just suffer in silence. Make sure that we can support you as best we can. This is a trying time for all of us. A trying time at work, a trying time at home sometimes, particularly for those of you who have small children. God bless you. And for all of us, it's been another added disruption to a year and a half that's been fairly disrupted anyways. So let us hold firm, let us persevere, let us rely on Jesus and turn to one another to support each other in this period of time. I hope to see you on Sunday in one of our services. Looking forward to continuing to share with you about what it looks like for us to spend time alone with God. Perhaps one of the easiest discipleship contexts at this point in time because of the limitations around our numbers. So hope to see you then, but until then, God bless.